Steely Dan's 1975 album, Katy Lied, is not a very good album, certainly not by the standard that Steely Dan had set with their previous three albums. The genre experimentation from Pretzel Logic is gone, the intricate backings of Can't Buy a Thrill and Countdown to Ecstasy, as well as the aforementioned Pretzel Logic, are also mostly gone. The songwriting is a good bit blander than any of what the band had done before, and the singing and instrumentation work often feels dispassionate, like it was turned out according to a formula and mostly just fiddle. The only really new thing here was Michael McDonald's excellent backing vocals that help elevate the good songs on the album into great ones, but cannot hold up any of the album's numerous bad songs. I think a large part of Katy Lied's problem is that even when a song gets one ingredient right, it gets everything else wrong. Dr. Wu got the solo right, but not quite the lyrics or vocal instrumentation. Everyone's Gone to the Movies had the backing down, but not the solo or the lyrics. Black Friday has the good lyrics and vocal, but doesn't quite have good enough backing. Almost every song here is missing some of the parts that make it work, leaving hardly anything that can truly stand on its own, even within the confines of the album. As I said before, there are a few good parts of the album, but not enough to really justify a full LP in my opinion. Steely Dan probably should have taken 1975 off, and either had put the best parts of this album on 1976's Royal Scam, or just release Katy Lied as an LP with maybe Any World That I'm Welcome To, Bad Sninkles, Black Friday, and maybe Dr. Wu? Honestly, I feel like this album was unnecessary. And also, I would like to, before we get into the song-by-song ranking, remind everyone, including those of you who are mad at me for bashing this album, to subscribe to my channel, like this video, or dislike it if you, I guess, disagree. And also comment below your opinions if you disagree with me, because I would love to see your opinions. And if you like this album, no hate to you. I'm glad you enjoyed this more than I did. I wish I was you, because I wish I could enjoy this album more than I do, other than a few select songs. So yeah, now let's get on to the song-by-song ranking. Black Friday is a decent song to open the album on. It's got a good set of lyrics, which will sung well. I like the echo effect at the end of some of the verses, but the song's musical component is otherwise competent but unmemorable. I am aware of this song being based on a real event, but I'm not really knowledgeable enough about this event to explain it super well here. Overall, this song is about a con man who makes off with a bunch of cash and is able to kick back while lying low. It's not as strong as the album openers on the previous three albums, but it is one of the best songs on Katy Lied, so it does serve as a decently good album opener to a very shaky album. If anything, it makes you think the album is going to be better than it actually is. So, I guess it did its job well. Bad Sninkles is one of the best songs on the album. The backing is not at its best here, but it is much improved from the previous song. The vocal delivery of the lyrics, while not at their sharpest, are in great shape here. The chorus is good, and the song is much more memorable than almost all of the rest of the album. Lyrically, the song is something to do with being insane, or maybe on drugs. I don't really know. But not knowing is kind of the appeal of Steely Dan, isn't it? Like, who cares if I know? It sounds good. I like this song. Rose Darling is a song about a married couple having sex. Wow. It is sappier than Paul of the Quarter ever was, and is awfully unimaginative. The delivery is so-so, but very much is filler of the highest, most severe degree. You could have put a stone cover of I Wanna Hold Your Hand here, and honestly, the quality of the album wouldn't change. It would be just net neutral. Go ahead, Steely Dan, do it. I want this. I'm building a time machine to make them put a cover of I Wanna Hold Your Hand on this album, actually. I'm building a time machine just to do that. Daddy Don't Live in That New York City No More actually has a pretty good set of lyrics, but the delivery does all it can to kill it. The singing and backing all just feel too detached and mechanical. This is a problem through much of this album. What feels like the energy and experimentation that was present on all three of the band's previous albums is completely gone here. Replaced with more or less half-assembled songs that get one part of the formula right, but not the rest, as I said above. I understand that Steely Dan's supposed to be cynical, but that's kind of an emotion too. Whereas this song, it just doesn't have any emotion. Dr. Wu features a pretty good set of lyrics, but the vocals are a bit too dispassionate once again, and the backing falls flat. Phil Woods' saxophone is the kind of the saving throw for this song. It actually manages to sound quite good, and it's perhaps the only good instrument solo on Katy Lied. I don't really remember any others by hand. This is really the most memorable solo here. The solo paired with a decent-ish lyric makes this song better than a fair share of a few levels on the album, but still relatively weak link in the band's greater discography. I mean, like, Dr. Wu's probably the fourth best song on this album, but that's not saying much. Everyone's Gone to the Movies features what is perhaps the best, or at least the most imaginative backing of any of the songs on Katy Lied. It's a bit more jazzy and rhythmic than the rest of this album, being more in the vein of Countdown to Ecstasy than the rest of the material here. Lyrically, the song is alright, but nothing exemplary, with the theme about some guy showing a person inappropriate movies for the first time. Steely Dan songs often have a sleazy feeling to them, and that's generally pretty good, but, I can't really fault them for it. But at the same time, there's no glamour in this particular story of Vice. It's... Your Gold Teeth 2 is a bunch of meaningless, meaningful words thrown together against a rather simple backing. It's not particularly bad or annoying, but this does not make for a good or memorable song. It's quite forgettable. This is a shame, since Your Gold Teeth from Countdown to Ecstasy was really miles above this in quality. Like, I really liked that song, so I don't know why they made this inferior sequel, maybe? Chain Lightning is honestly only 2/3 of the song. You have two decent but unmemorable verses and literally no chorus. Most of the song is a guitar solo, which is not a very good guitar solo, especially by the standards of this band, especially not compared to the ones on Countdown to Ecstasy. I'm all for unconventional song structures if they work. Chain Lightning does not work. Any Word That I'm Welcome To is probably the best song of the album, give or take Bad Sneakers. It's not the most interesting Steely Dan song, but the lyrics do convey the feeling of disillusionment about the narrator's life very well. The backing is, much like the rest of the album, very basic but competent. The vocals and Michael McDonald's harmony on the chorus both sound great, and when combined with the lyrics elevate this musically above much of the rest of the album. I do like this song. Throw Back the Little Ones is a song about evil cons, or perhaps romance that uses metaphors about catching and cooking fish to illustrate manipulation of some sort. It's an interesting concept, I guess, but I don't really think it succeeds, although I might be biased because I don't like seafood. It just drops the ball. It fumbles the landing, because this album, if there's one thing it did right, it had a good opening. But it fumbles the landing. So bad. Okay, before we go to the final song rankings and ultimately the ranking I give the album, I want to stop and look at the sleeve for a little bit. Every time I imagine a sleeve in my head, I imagine this is a mantis, but it's actually not. It's like either a grasshopper or a locust or something. Looks something like a grasshopper to me, but I don't know. I believe it's actually a katydid, whatever that is. It's a pun, though, on the album's title, Katy Lied. I do like this sort of macro photography style. I do it kind of as a hobby as well, so I do very much appreciate this. I like the green. I like kind of this brownish beige color. It's, not a very good color in and of itself, but it works really well here. So yeah, I'd say it has a pretty good cover, actually. The back has some pictures of the band, but I don't like these as much as I like the picture on the back of Countdown to Ecstasy. I do think the picture, in particular, of Walter Becker is pretty good, but they aren't all that great of pictures of other members. And you also have, with this album, a printed liner. There that is. You got a little kind of bug there in the corner. And on the other side you have the same. It is dark green text on this kind of yellowish paper cardboard stuff. It's pretty thick for a liner. It's not one of those really super thin ones. It's a slightly thicker one that they tend to do kind of sometimes all around the 70s, but in the later 70s and free pressings you tend to see kind of really easily tellable stuff, but that's a lot sturdier. So yeah, I like this label, sleeve, quite a bit. I think this is a very good sleeve. It's a very shaky album, but this is a very good sleeve. I quite like this design and this kind of style. Unfortunately, we don't have more like it. It is a bit of an oddball for really the 70s album sleeves in general, but it looks very nice. So, for the final song rankings, I give Black Friday 8 out of 10. Bad Sneakers 9 out of 10. Rose Darling 4 out of 10. Daddy Don't Live in That New York City No More 5 out of 10. Dr. Wu 6 out of 10. Everyone's Gone to the Movies 5 out of 10. Your Gold Teeth 2 4 out of 10. Chain Lightning 5 out of 10. Any World That I'm Welcome To 9 out of 10. Throw Back the Little Ones 3 out of 10. And overall, I give this album a 4 out of 10. I'd like to think 5 is the median. 5 is a absolute neutral album. And 4 is slightly bad. Anything below that, you know, that's worse, but this does not work well as an album. It has some good songs on it. It makes it worth buying. I didn't pay much for this. So I don't regret buying this. I want to make that quite clear. But the band should not have released this. Steely Dan should not have released this probably as an album. An EP, as I said earlier, maybe. Should they have merged it with, Royal Scam? I don't know. Maybe they should have made Royal Scam a double album and polished up the songs on this a bit better. And made them kind of one, but I don't know. This was not in any shape they should have released it, in my opinion. So yeah, if you disagree, let me know below. As I said earlier, if you enjoy this album, I'm glad, because I sure as hell don't. Thank you all for watching to this point, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.